Howdy, howdy. We are here to talk about the New York Comic Con presentation that just wrapped like a little over an hour ago for Star Trek Prodigy. So I'm glad we have people in the audience already tuning in to join us for this. And I have my lovely shipmate, Starfleet boy, and
Ahoy.
Earl Grey Trekkie.
Hello, everyone.
So did both of y'all get to see the panel that they did?
Yes.
Yes. I was really experiencing FOMO though when they were like, "Oh, this is starting now. We're going to watch the first two episodes." And it's just going to be like a sign that says we'll be back later. So I experienced a lot of FOMO. But yes, I watched the panel and I enjoyed it very much. And it looked like the two episodes were well received.
Yeah, so that was kind of jealous knowing that like all the people in New York were getting to see it. They basically had the Hageman brothers and the director Ben Hibben come out on stage and say hi to everyone and be like, "Okay, we haven't shown this to anyone. Hardly anyone in the entire world has ever seen it until now." And then they presented it, and I tried to tune back in, 23, 24 minutes later, and they still were on blackout showing the episode to everyone. So it turns out that the first episode of Prodigy, it's like a full length hour long. I don't know if it's like two episodes combined or if this will just be one of the 10 episodes we're getting or what. But yeah, we're going to have a full hour long premiere episode when the show is available to stream here in the US on Paramount Plus on the 28th.
A really good friend of mine and a fellow Trekkie was at the actual event, and I tried to squeeze some information out of him, but Captain Janeway is very persuasive. He was like, "No, man, you're gonna have to wait." And he's a good friend of mine. I was so upset. So I have nothing. I have no news.
Yeah,
to report.
I think there is also a press junket for critics.
Cool.
But those reviews are going to be embargoed for a little bit, so we'll get the first reactions to the show soon. Just want to say hi to some of the people in the audience. We have Sergeant Montgomery. Hi.
Woohoo.
Jill 47. Hi, Jill. Marcio Vaz. I think this is your first time here, but howdy. And Jeremiah, longtime fan Jeremiah. Trek on the Tube. Trek on the Tube. I can send you a link if you'd like to join us and talk about Prodigy. But yeah, so that was kind of big FOMO when they did the blackout to show it. But then they came back and they gave us that delightful panel. I think Robbie,
And the
you
clip,
said that
we
you
got
had
the
a lot
clip
of fun with the panel.
in the US. I don't know if you guys saw it overseas, but we also got a clip. I don't know if you saw it, Fathery, but like we got a little.
I have seen the clip. Robbie,
cool.
were you able to see the clip?
Yeah, I saw the clip. I think they maybe forgot to geotag it.
Oh, great.
Nice.
Toddy says yes, he wants a link.
Hey, well, we are bringing on board Trek on the Tube. But yeah, so that panel starts off with Carol Freeman, actress herself, the captain of the USS Cerritos, Dawn Lewis. She was the moderator. Awesome. And yeah, on the panel we had the doll actor, Brett Gray, kind of the lead of the show. Got to hear the most from him. I think we've seen him in a few interviews before, but Murph actor D. Baker, who does all the weird animal sounds, he was delightful.
I loved all the live sounds he was doing. It was really wild. I felt like, gosh, like his voice must like just have a natural way of doing that because it hurts whenever I try to make those sounds. It's crazy.
He exercises vocal cords.
Yeah, he's got like great vocal cords.
Rock Talk voice actor Riley Alazraki, I think is how you say her name. She was so fun to see because she's so little, and I'm so like nervous for her. Like, oh, this must be like intimidating or overwhelming, but she did very well. She was like answering questions and stuff, very very mature,
very awesome. Yeah, she was fantastic. I love her newness to Star Trek, which is cool, and it's kind of what the show's about, is bringing that age group into Star Trek. So it's really delightful that you have someone going on that journey.
I love the way that they described how they're doing that. With the Hageman brothers, they were there with the director Ben Hibben, who's kind of in charge of the animation style and the look of the show, and then the president of animation at Paramount and Nickelodeon, Ramsey Nito, and of course Kate Mulgrew.
I loved how enthusiastic Dawn Lewis was. She was really quite pumped up when she was asking questions and stuff.
Yeah, totally. She was pumping everyone up too. She was pumping me up with when I say Star Trek, you say Prodigy, Star Trek, Prodigy. That was pretty awesome.
Jill in our live audience says hopefully the show runs long enough for her voice to change, talking about Riley Ozraki. But yeah, so I was gonna try to wait for Toddy to get here before we talked about the clip.
Oh, there's a lot of other things. Did you go over all the cast announcements? Jason Alexander. Are we gonna?
Sure. So they did make some big announcements as far as like new talent, big talent coming to the show. Jason Alexander, longtime Trek fan, and he's shown up in Star Trek before in Think Tank on Voyager. But yeah, he's a huge Star Trek fan, and he's going to be an adult Tellarite, Dr. Noam.
Yeah, he was so creepy in his Voyager episode. I just watched it last night.
Did you stay awake for all of it?
I actually made it just to the end, but the last 10 minutes are hazy. It's like I know I was still.
Then you slept through the episode right after it.
Yes, I did. It's true. Sorry, Star Trek Voyager. I'm having a tough time with you.
Interesting. Well, don't tell Kate Mulgrew that, because she's feisty. If you tell her you sleep through half of her show.
No, she would understand if she needed the full context. But anyways, yes, maybe she would yell at me.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but was Jason Alexander in the Spock documentary?
I believe so. Finally, Trek on the Tube is here, so we can talk about the clip now. It's probably going to get this video copyright strike from CBS.
Are you going to play the clip?
I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to show images from it.
Yeah.
Good, because I haven't seen it.
We're rolling the dice. You haven't seen it?
No.
Okay, I can give you the quick summary of it.
Robbie says it wasn't geolocked for him. He was able to see it.
Was it geo-locked for Canada?
Yeah, I couldn't. The Starfleet boy sent me the tweet, the official tweet from the Paramount Plus, and all I have is an angry Captain Janeway with a loading symbol on top of it.
Oh no. Well, I can give you the quick rundown. You didn't miss much. It's only a minute long. And what I can gather from the way that they were talking about the premiere episode, stuff that Kate Mulgrew has already said, but essentially the first episode is going to be like these ragtag kids that are on this mining station or whatever it is. They get on this derelict Starfleet ship and they meet the Janeway hologram and escape. That's going to be the first episode, it sounds like. I think this clip that we're seeing here, this is the beginning of the second episode. Yeah. So this clip seems to be kind of the hologram Janeway getting to know the kids. There is a funny exchange between her and our Tellarite, Jankom Pog. He basically says, "Oh, she's so ugly. Why is her forehead so smooth?" But I like that they give the Janeway hologram. Toddy, you'll probably appreciate this as a big Voyager fan. They give her a little bit of sass and attitude when she says, "You're no summer peach either, Tellarite."
Yeah, and he liked her, which is fitting for a Tellarite. They like it when you're
because they like confrontation. They like to argue.
Awesome.
She's got. Dear God, she looks terrifying there. She's got a badge that is not the Voyager badge.
Right. So I'm going to be buying that badge from either QMX or Fansets, whoever puts it up first.
God damn. Yeah, this is like Disney when they make a new Spider-Man movie, they have to have 5 Spider-Man suits so that people buy all of the different toys.
Do you have a close-up of the badge?
I have the Prodigy shirt.
I know, I saw that. That's cool.
Yeah, well, the two previous, 2 images ago, there was a pretty good shot of the badge, pretty much.
Oh, sorry, I was
it wasn't a close-up. You can't do multiple things.
No, it's hard to multitask.
Yeah, you can.
So this is not a trailer though. What they showed is it's a part of an episode, kind of.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be from the opening.
From
of the
Oh yeah, I
second
definitely want
episode.
that badge. That's a rad badge. That's a
Still has
really
like
cool.
the modern era Star Trek split in it.
Yeah, but it's a interesting way. It's cool. I like it. I like it.
But yeah, they kind of have like a little explanation here of
What she is.
that she is a training hologram based on one of Starfleet's most distinguished captains, and how she's there to kind of assist the crew of the Protostar to get back from the Delta Quadrant and and get back to the Federation. And Rock Talk asks, "What's the Federation?" And then the Janeway hologram replies, "What kind of starship crew doesn't know what the Federation is? Who's your captain?" And then they kind of have like an argument between Gwen, who's tied up in the captain's chair, and Dahl, who is uh, claiming that he is the captain. So there's a little bit of confrontation between the kids. They're not a gelled crew unit just yet. And then the Janeway hologram says, "Okay, I think you're keeping a secret from me," and that's just the entire clip.
Yeah, and
Okay.
they all
Oh, okay.
unanimously give their vote of confidence to Dahl to be the captain. It's all like it looks like it's an improvised.
So
thing.
hashtag not my trick. If there was a Captain Janeway holographic program that existed, Boimler would have already played it 5 times. Like in Lower Decks, he would be all about like these captain training programs.
I mean, how do you know he's not running?
Yeah, he probably is. In his off time, he's always running
Yeah,
the Janeway program
he's
or like the
always on
Cisco program or everything.
He's constantly
Yeah.
on Janeway.
Yeah, you can see Gwen tied up there in the captain's chair. She's supposed to be the daughter of the big bad guy, so I guess she's going to start off kind of against them, and then I guess slowly
hostage?
become part of the family. Yeah, maybe they take her hostage. I don't know.
Okay. All
That
right.
captain's chair is really cool.
Yeah, they added like a little setup. I'm sure y'all saw the pictures on Twitter, but they had like a little setup of that
at New
captain's
York
chair.
Comic-Con.
What excited me most about this, though, was when Rock Talk is asking, "What's a federation?" Like she didn't know how to say it or whatever. But what was cool about that is, later in the panel, the Hageman brothers explained that the reason why they're doing Delta Quadrant characters, and the reason why the show, I guess, looks so weird and different compared to the rest of Star Trek, they want to start off with these young characters who don't know anything about Star Trek because it's for an audience that doesn't know anything about Star Trek. And as the show goes along, they will learn more and more and introduce more and more stuff to the audience.
I thought of Trek on the Tube when they were talking about that, because that's kind of like the charter of your channel, was to welcome new Trekkies to Star Trek and show them like the details they might have missed and things like that.
Yeah, and they have this hologram Janeway to
now
explain
Trek
it.
on the Tube is just a hate channel, and so
a hate channel.
No, I'm just teasing.
Have y'all seen this boy talk about Lower Decks?
No, I guess
ain't no hate channel.
It's funny because, like, from a fan perspective, when you go online and you look for Star Trek, and I granted the scene has kind of changed over these past 5 years, but back in the day when you were looking for Star Trek content, it would probably be Trek yards, and they're very, very anal and very like intricate about like the details, and so it can be overwhelming for someone that's never seen Star Trek, and also you don't give a shit about how many decks are on whatever ship. You just want to understand globally what's going on. So that's why I made my channel. And these guys, it seems like that's kind of why they made this show. It's like, we're going to introduce this to new fans or like a new audience, but we don't want to overwhelm you with like the political infrastructure of like the Federation and of the Klingons this and the Romans this. And you can't have this person in the same room as this person because it wouldn't make sense. So they're just doing a whole new thing. I am confused as to why there's a Tellarite though. I can't wrap my head around that.
And a Medusan.
I'm still convinced Medusans. That's fine. That, like, to me, they can phase in and out of where they want in space. Like they could black hole themselves somewhere. But I feel like a Teller. I think they're lying. He's Talaxian.
I equate the Voyager's journey to being. I equate the Voyager's journey through the Delta Quadrant much like kind of like a Lewis and Clark Oregon Trail type of deal. And by this time, maybe you'll see a lot more people prospecting in the Delta Quadrant, like taking longer journeys, maybe cryo freezing themselves for part of it, things like that, so they can go out there. So it's possible that like, or they found like, temporary faster propulsion systems, whatever. I can see I like that there's some characters out in the Delta Quadrant we don't expect there to be.
I think they're gonna explain why he's there. I don't think they're
Yeah.
just gonna have like the Tellarite in the Delta Quadrant and never address it. There's gonna be some reason.
He was
Someone should make a-
kidnapped by the Hansen family. He was
I mean-
he was supposed to be like the first Borg that they were gonna try and they send him out with like a chip in his brain or something.
There were Klingons in the Delta Quadrant.
There were.
Well, there were
So-
Ferengi, weren't there?
Ferengi got there. That's
Yeah,
where they
there were
ended up,
Ferengi
right?
there. There were
two
Klingons. That was
Ferengi.
Ron Moore's big problem with Voyagers. He said like they went off into the Delta Quadrant and they just had all these familiar aliens keep showing up.
Isn't that the same thing in Enterprise though? They go back like 200 years in the past, and then like is the same thing.
Yeah, they couldn't even get through 2 seasons without bringing back the Ferengi and the Borg.
They gave him the whip.
The universe fixed it and
I like
created
the
the
whip.
expanse. The universe fixed it and created the expanse.
What do you mean created the Expanse?
Like the expanse is like the unofficial Star Trek prequel.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking
Type
about like
of vibe that I
The
wanted.
Expanse.
Delphic Expanse.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the Expanse from season 3. There.
It's
No,
the
like the
Expanse
show is
isn't
like
an unofficial Star Trek prequel either. Like it has no place in the Star Trek universe. Those are incompatible.
but that's what I wanted Enterprise to be more like, was like the expanse.
Sean, did you see the casting news for the new guest stars?
I was sent a message by Starfleet Boy here that our man Robert Beltran is coming back as Captain Chakotay. Is that what you're
Yes,
talking about?
Captain
Okay.
Chakotay. Don't know what he's captain of. The novels made him captain
I'm
of.
assuming a
Voyager.
ship, but okay.
So
Okay,
who knows if they follow that or do their own thing?
So wait a minute. This guy came. He was like everyone else. He was on Voyager when they spoilers people when they got back to Earth. So I'm assuming he's gone back out there for some like he missed Neelix. He took Seven's dumping real hard or something. Like he was like, I'm leaving. I'm going back to the Delta Quadrant. Maybe he wants to help someone out there.
I don't think he's going to be in the Delta Quadrant because there's a few Alpha Quadrant aliens. They also announced Jason Alexander of Seinfeld will be a
He's gonna be a
Tellarite,
Tellarite,
Dr.
yeah.
Noam, an adult Tellarite. There's going to be an
That is
adult
probably the
Andorian.
most perfect casting I've ever seen.
Yeah, we get an adult Andorian by David Diggs, who is in Hamilton. I don't know much about him, but he's going to be Commander Tysus, I think. And then Jamila Jamil from The Good Place, Tahani, a tall, beautiful woman. She's going to be a Trill ensign.
Okay.
So I think
There's
they're
a
going to be in
Federation ship,
communication with
yeah.
the Federation.
Alright.
So the way that
Message
they
in a
describe
bottle
it.
type thing.
Yeah, and also what?
Yeah,
happened to the
exactly,
crew-
exactly.
And also, what happened to the crew of the Protostar? Because these guys are not the crew. And,
Yeah, how
like,
did that ship get there too?
Yeah, so
They're
there's
gonna have to
also
do like
lot
a
of
whole
stories.
backstory episode.
Yeah.
It could be one of the 2 ships. They sent 2 ships to Voyager, like on their way. Like Admiral Para says, we have 2 ships on our way to you.
Oh, yeah.
And then Voyager got home, and those
Where-
ships are
where are
probably
they?
like, "Oh, I guess we gotta like turn around." And
Yeah, that sucks.
but what happened to the crew?
Yeah.
How
This
pissed
is a
would you be?
derelict ship.
How pissed would you be if you were told you gotta take this ship over there, go meet the captain? Yeah, but she came home already.
Oh, and
Star Trek Lower Decks.
Sean, the panel was moderated by Dawn Lewis, who plays Captain Freeman on
Yeah.
on Lower Decks, and she was saying how she was excited for the return of Chakotay because she had like a big crush on him back when the show was
Ooh.
on.
Yeah. There's a lot of ladies on
Ooh.
Twitter I know that are in a group of like Chakotay stands, and I really get a lot of delight
Okay.
out of following their shenanigans. It's really
I'm
cute.
happy to hear that like the personal opinions that people may have about the actor is kind of like they're able to differentiate between the actor and the character. I like that.
I don't think those people have personal opinions about the actor other than
Oh,
good
okay.
ones, but
Oh,
I
okay.
will just say that like the character is beloved by a lot of people. I was surprised myself.
My only true problem, like without getting into all the behind the scenes stuff and like I guess the missed opportunity at correct representation, that kind of stuff. Like I think the character didn't get enough screen time in Voyager. He just didn't. And so I'm very happy to see him come back in Prodigy and get some sort of screen time because like there's episodes where Chakotay really shines. And I know that, like, my mother, for example, isn't a big fan of Chakotay because, like, he's too perfect, right? He does everything right. Never gets anything. It's like, okay, so you want someone that makes mistakes, but I like that. I like that he's so good, and I just want to see more of it.
I hope
And
the
he's got a little bit of
characters,
edge to him. He's not like a
yeah.
straight up Boy Scout. Like he commanded the Maquis. He was on like the ship of renegades. He'll like punch a dude in the face who steps out of line if he has to. If that's what he needs to do
he's
to
Star
command
Trek's
respect.
Batman, because he was doing that because he thought that was the most morally just or the most morally correct stance to have, right?
Star Trek's Batman is going to be my new hashtag whenever I talk about Chakotay. That's going to be the new hashtag.
I used to compare Michael Burnham to Batman because she is like so good and so efficient at like all these different skill sets, but
She's
had a
more
bunch
like the
of
Flash,
messed up
though, isn't she,
emotional.
at this point?
Bunch of
She's
messed up
always
emotional baggage.
doing like she's always changing time and doing time jumps and all of that now. So
from a character perspective, I haven't finished Voyager, but from what I've seen so far, I think it would be fitting if Chakotay were the captain of Voyager, because it would be like kind of a cool legitimization of everything he kind of fought for before when he was in the Maquis, and also kind of bringing that like, you know, continuity, if you will, that we have never really actually gotten on screen as far as I know. Like we've never had like the first officer take over the ship, so that would be a neat new thing, like, right? Like
the Wrath of Khan, Spock was in command of the Enterprise.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
I see where you're coming from. I would like them to not have Voyager in the show, just because we already have Kate Mulgrew.
I don't want my beloved Voyager anywhere near this trash.
No, I want the shows to try and stand like, you know, on their own two feet. And I'm not saying that it's not going to be able to do that. It's that we already have Chakotay, we already have Voyager. Strange New Worlds is doing so many like characters that we already know. Like all of these shows, I'm not saying they're necessarily banking on things that we know. I know that they're bringing these things back because we do want to see more of them, and it is kind of like a blessing to get them back. But I feel like I don't want to take the spotlight away from all of these main characters into their ship, right? By putting the Voyager in there.
I think my main critique of Star Trek has always been that it could be more integrated and it's too standalone-ish. Like I like the idea of having these like big stories that like span across like, you know, generations and stuff like that. So
you want crossover-y stuff.
Yeah, I love crossover-y stuff, and you know, so to me it's all good. But I mean, I don't think any of the Star Trek shows up to date could be guilty of doing too much crossover. So I don't think Prodigy will either. Right? Like I can't think of another Star Trek show that was like crossover crazy.
No, I'm fine with that. I just don't want I'm just afraid that maybe if you put like Chakotay on the Voyager, it would take away too much from like what the show is. But then again, like Riker on the Titan didn't take away too much from Lower Decks. Like Lower Decks still is Lower Decks, and but they found a balance. You managed to put them in there just enough. You know, they gave us what we wanted, but they didn't like overpower it. I guess they didn't overpower the show with it.
Well, Jill says Chakotay is her least favorite character of all time in Star Trek. But I think it is very likely he might be captain of Voyager on here, because Kirsten Beyer is very involved with these shows, and she wrote a lot of the novels of Captain Chakotay on the Voyager. But if it's a new ship, cool. We get to see like a new starship. Might have like a cool new design. I'd be down either way. I'd be excited.
I feel like everyone has to bring like new things that they've written to the table, like the writer's table, but she doesn't. She just brings her Voyager novels like this. They're doing this.
I mean, the Titan was something from the novels. That design of the Luna class that was never on screen before until Lower Decks did it.
Was it on Star Trek Online?
Yeah, it existed inline and in the IDW comics and in the novels, but never on official canon.
I like that Gwen seems to be detained here, because already that's a good opportunity for character development. And I hope that this show, although jokey and sometimes childish, maybe it does have characters going from one point to another point by the end of the show.
Yeah, there's potential for an arc there with Dahl kind of being they talked about his character being overconfident. So I guess he's gonna have to kind of be like Chris Pine in Star Trek Into Darkness. He's gonna have to like learn to not be as cocky. And Gwen kind of antagonistic. She's gonna have to learn to, you know, accept these other people and become part of the crew.
Right.
We interrupt this program to bring you a tweet from Aaron J. Watke.
Oh.
He just tweeted the unregion blocked clip.
Oh, right on. We could get your live reaction.
So I retweeted that. There we go. Thank you. He says, for those unable to see our sneak peek, here it is directly. Hopefully, this one is viewable for our international fans. There you go. Great.
Yay.
All right, I'm going to take 1 minute exactly to watch it while you guys carry on.
Okay.
I do have a question, though.
I love how Star
Ask
Trek,
away.
Before I watch it.
Star Trek delivered something to you today.
He's watching. He's watching the stream, right?
He was watching. He's like, "Oh man, that guy Trek on the Tube can't watch this."
He's so bummed. He felt for me. My question is, how much do you think this is really going to be for kids? Because the more I see,
they addressed it on the panel.
Okay. Because the more I see of it, the more I'm like, this isn't as marketed.
I think it's going to be for kids. It's going to be for a very young audience, but there's going to be a lot of themes that adults or older folks or people new to Star Trek in general will be able to.
Toy Story-ish?
I imagine that's kind of
the one I keep hearing is Avatar, The Last Airbender, like
that's
that level.
the one everyone says.
Okay, so that's okay. All right, Avatar: The Last Airbender is I guess it doesn't balance the child to adult aspect as well as I think they could have. It feels more kid show than it feels adult show.
Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit's a good example from a.
But this is going to be more of a serious. It's more of a serious show. In fact, the president of animation, what's her name? Ramsey Nikos, I believe. She called their original pitch that the Hageman brothers had. She called that pitch sophisticated.
I dig that word.
And then they talk about how, Ben Hibbins, the director, Ben Hibbins' vision for the show, that animation style is very important, that they're able to put like a lot of soul and heart into it, and they keep describing it as cinematic. We got to see the actors' reaction to the first episode because they had not seen it before, and that was what they were describing it as cinematic. They talked about Nami Mulamad's score. She's the protege of Michael Giacchino of all people, and they talked about her score was very epic and cinematic, and just like the look of the show.
I was just listening to the soundtrack for Lower Decks. All of modern Trek's TV scores are phenomenal. There's no past comparison. I mean, all the previous shows have moments of greatness, like an episode here or a cue there or whatever, but like there's so much great accompaniment going on in all of the modern Star Trek scores. Like I love listening to the soundtracks as background music constantly. It's awesome.
I love how you guys are talking about the music, where I was specifically going to talk about I just watched the clip.
Oh, nice.
The music accompanying the clip, that's what gave me kid show vibes. Like they're doing the little I guess like I don't know, I call it the Disney kind of music that follows along with like the mood or the dialogue.
Accompaniment, yeah, like but yeah, I don't remember. Now I have to watch the clip again to hear the music. I didn't remember listening to the music, but it sounds like it's fun.
Yeah, and she did one of the short treks also, Nami, the composer. But this is the first time a Star Trek show has had a woman as the regular series composer. So they pointed that out during the panel.
So this protostar, because now that I've seen the clip, she says something to, I'm a hologram based on one of the most decorated captains in Starfleet history, programmed to assist the protostar's crew on their journey back to the Federation space. So clearly this thing was launched after Voyager got back, right? This isn't part of the two ships.
Yeah, she wouldn't have been the most decorated until after.
Yeah, so this is like after.
Oh, cool. Good observation.
Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. And this show's taking place in, it used to be, I think, 2382, 2383. That's like in my mind now, but I don't know if that's still confirmed.
The shot of the bridge here is really cool. I'm seeing a lot of details.
2382, 2383, sorry.
By the way, I love how these ship interiors, how they're not quite as advanced of holographic interfaces as what we see in Picard on La Serena, but they're still holographic projections like overlaid on the console surfaces. So it's kind of like in between Lower Decks and Picard type of level of technology.
Well, it doesn't look as good as Discovery Season 1, does it? It's not as advanced as Discovery Season 1.
Discovery Season 1 didn't have that many holographic things. They just had like
What is
Yeah,
the date?
Boat Rex says 2383.
It's because I said 2283, I think. But it's 2383. I think
Gotcha.
but yeah, I was talking, I think it was with Paul, we were talking about this, how for like 3 times I asked the guys when the show was set, and eventually someone said, we've already replied, so I'd forgotten the answer about 3 times. And it was 2383, but I'm no longer sure if that's still confirmed at this point. Like, there's no official word, I guess.
No, they did say that like a while back. There was one of the.
Where did that place the show? Sorry for the just in terms of the other show. Two years after Lower Decks Season 2, and then I think 2 years before the Romulan supernova.
4 years. No, supernova's in 87.
87. Okay, I thought it was 85.
And then Nemesis is 79.
That, this gives me the jellyfish type of vibe anyways, so yeah, it's kind of a more.
Do you think Starfleet went full jellyfish?
No, but like I think there's some ships like the Protostar.
They feel like they could be ships in the same fleet.
Same fleet, yeah, it's cool.
So does everyone have a
bit of Geordie design?
Does everyone have a slipstream drive at this point?
No, it's the Protostar drive. That's what the drive is called. No, I just made that up. I'm sorry. That was a
because this is a slipstream drive, right?
I don't know what it does.
We don't know if it's slipstream or transwarp or what. Slipstream would be kind of cool. I always wanted them to use more of that technology.
Warp drive is environmentally damaging, as explained by TNG. So they need to get rid of it.
They fixed that though in the Voyager technical manual. It said that's why like the nacelles on the Voyager like fold in because they're environmentally friendly,
environmentally sound warp bubble by bending the nacelles. Nobody told Riker that in Picard though. Well, they fixed it by then, I guess.
I think the angle on all future ships was adjusted. All the ships in the fleet was adjusted just enough to make them warp friendly.
They found the warp drive bubble sweet spot. So they had like Travis's great grandson working on that sweet spot, and he found it. Now it's all good. It's all
That's
fixed.
funny. I like that.
God damn.
But it has that vibe to me. Sorry.
I'm really intrigued as to what type of ship it is, what class. As you were saying, what happened to the people, the crew that flew it.
Class.
Yeah, it had an NX on it. So typically, when a ship has an NX, that means it's a prototype and the first of its own class,
or an alien trap.
Or an alien trap, like the Daedalus. But the Defiant was, the prototype of the Defiant class starship. And that's why it had the NX, or the Excelsior NX 2000.
Became the Excelsior class. And so maybe this is the Protostar class. This will become when it goes out of the NX program. But I think Star Trek also defies this in another instance or something like that. So I wonder if with the NX-01, they should officially canonize that it went on to become the Enterprise class.
Well, that was the Earth Starfleet, not the Federation Starfleet. So they had different rules.
So,
good point.
Sorry. Oh, go ahead. It's unrelated what I want to say.
We'll just say it anyways.
If it's related to Prodigy, we should talk
about it. Floating floaty face there. What? I forget the name.
Zero?
Zero, the character's name?
Zero, yeah.
Zero's the Medusan.
The Medusan?
Who doesn't do anything in this clip.
And has no legs. Is that like an attachment that's acquired later on? Or did they give... Like, Zero's just floating at this point.
Let me go back and check that. Yeah, you are absolutely right. So
does Zero get legs later? Does Zero think that life without legs is a pain?
They're only deployed during certain situations.
Deployed.
It's like landing gear.
Oh, I
like
that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that thing is just floating there in the air.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, it makes it practical so that like
He's a floater. He
well,
is.
Zero
He's-
can now be at camera level, I guess, whenever they want. It makes it practical for that.
That was a good attention to detail because that was one of my disappointments with this clip. Was like Zero didn't get a single line of dialogue.
And neither's
So-
Murph. Murph isn't even in it.
Well, Murph doesn't really talk. Murph just makes
Murph
weird
isn't in the
noises.
show. Isn't in any of these clips. He's not here.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't notice that either.
Murph is just so they picked Murph up later.
We have no idea, but there's a lucky group of people at NYCC who know all the
damn it.
details. Of the
Oh,
first
that's
two
right. You guys were
episodes.
talking about that. They saw the episodes.
They saw the first two
Yeah.
episodes. Yeah.
Oh,
And
there,
it was we don't know if it was the first two. They kept calling it the first episode, but it was like a full hour long thing. So either they combine the first two episodes into one episode, or it'll just be an extra long first episode. But they called it the first episode, is what they kept saying.
I was half expecting these episodes to be like 10 minutes long when they first announced it for kids. Like really, because they were announcing it for kids like, 2, 4, 6, you can watch it. So I thought, oh, maybe they'll make like short episodes. Like Duck Dodgers, it's like a 23, I guess, minute chunk, but it's 2 10-minute episodes, right?
Oh yeah,
Very short stories. So I thought maybe that's the direction they'd go with.
Do
but
they
maybe
do they
that's-
make many shows like that now? Like kind of like that old like
Yeah.
Looney
And
Tunes.
I'm in favor of abolishing short
Teen
format.
Titans Go. Teen Titans Go do that, I think.
I'm in favor of abolishing those short format shows for kids because I think kids need
So
to expand their
50-minute
attention.
Ted Lasso episodes are perfect.
No,
for you.
I think kids need to expand their attention. Like the attention span, when you're used to watching something 10 minutes, you only want 10-minute things after that. You don't want things that are like longer.
Okay, fair enough. So make episodes like 2 hours long.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, then it's a movie. Then
Yeah,
it's
then
a,
it's a
a
movie.
feature-length
Yeah, it's a
motion
feature-
picture.
The lines have been blurred. So Sherlock handled that years ago.
That is true. Are Sherlock episodes TV episodes, or are they
Hour and 30
movies?
minutes typically, yeah. It's
Yeah,
true.
basically, because they did like 3-episode seasons. Yeah, season 3 is like 4 episodes. All right.
I appreciated the Sherlock format because you could say you were getting 3 episodes every time you got 1 episode because of the length of the episodes. So you wouldn't have to wait like weeks and weeks. You only had to wait like a few weeks for the, and you could take a longer time telling a story. You don't have to have a cliffhanger every episode if you're. That's one of the problems with the format of like a weekly is that you try to keep your audience like somehow enticed, or the urge is strong, I guess, to entice your audience to come back next week. So you put something in that's like,
Well, they pace and structure like the episodes that way. Like they make it so that
Yeah,
that,
but
it hooks you every time.
it's clear that none of the new Star Trek shows are designed for solely streaming, because I feel like it would be neat if Star Trek just did like what we were all kind of talking about when Discovery first came out. Is like maybe there's a week where there's a 30-minute Discovery episode, and maybe there's another week where it's a 2-hour episode. It's just
They do that a little bit, but not to
Yeah,
like those drastic.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because they're still
numbers that-
making the shows to what I would call the TV format in a weird way.
It's
like
because
Because
Paramount
Paramount
Plus-
Plus has commercials if you don't
Yeah.
pay
Yeah,
for the
it's-
or
commercial-free version.
Yeah.
Viacom CBS, like when Disney makes a show for Disney Plus, they have no intention on selling it to anyone else because it's their show, it's on their platform. So they let The Mandalorian be a 1-hour episode or 30-minute episode. But I feel like Viacom CBS want to keep their options open and want to sell it. And they're like, if we want to sell it to anywhere in Asia, maybe they don't have streaming platforms that want it. Maybe they want to put it on TV. So we're going to keep our options open in order to sell
I
it.
guess this show's going to be on Nickelodeon, like television. Like if you have like a Nickelodeon TV, yeah. So that makes sense for this show to stick or adhere to a format.
But
I was
the
wondering
worldwide
why,
audience won't get it until they can get it on Paramount Plus. Like it's not gonna be in Europe. Sorry, Robbie. It's not gonna be in UK or the European markets on October 28th. But it will be next year when Paramount Plus launches over there, I believe, is the current situation. And I think that's gonna be a huge deal for a lot of people with Strange New Worlds next year, because I think Strange New Worlds is gonna be the first show that no matter where you are, what country in the world you're in, the only way to watch Strange New Worlds is going to be Paramount Plus.
Oh,
God,
cool.
no.
Robbie will buy you a Paramount Plus.
No.
Subscription for your
Why
birthday.
are you against Paramount Plus, Robbie?
It's just it's useful because I have basically all of Star Trek on Netflix and Amazon Prime, and to pay for it just for Strange New Worlds,
Daddy
well.
Anson Mount will thank you.
To be very clear, I don't think anyone has anything against any specific streaming platform. It's just the fact that there are so many now. And it's like all of your Star Wars is on Disney Plus, but all of your Star Trek is all over the show. Like if you're international, like it's just everywhere. So it becomes a bit annoying, I guess. Here's hoping Paramount Plus eventually just gets every Star Trek thing on it in the highest quality and in the correct format, and you can just watch it.
I mean, that's how it is here in the United States. So,
Correct.
For me and Sohel, like Paramount Plus is like our Star Trek streaming service.
Right.
Which a lot of people were talking about, like, oh, they should just make a Star Trek streaming service. I'm like,
it is.
They have one in the United States. It's called Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
It also has like some other stuff too.
I would understand why people would want to pay a little less for just the Star Trek content rather than like
I want to pay more.
Oh yeah, you're very happy to be paying for a service that hosts Big Brother.
I mean, it's like $6 a month, right, for the commercial.
I don't, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want any of my money to go to any other show other than Star Trek. So, like, I'm happy to pay more if it's just exclusively Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean, I would pay $250 a year just to have like just a Star Trek,
the whole thing,
or like with an Alicaz design.
It's only $120 a year if you're you can get commercial free Paramount Plus.
Well,
it's $10.
We're totally shilling now, or whatever you call it. Like we're totally selling it now. But I will just say one last thing: Cheers is on there. There's like a lot of great classic Columbo's on there. There's like so many great.
Evil. A lot of people like that show. Evil. Antonia, I don't watch it, but Antonia loves it.
Yeah, it's totally worth the beans. I think you'll appreciate all the other stuff.
I heard a rumor that some of the money goes to a DS9 remaster.
What? Wait, what was that? What was the rumor?
It's false. He says there's a rumor that some of the money invested, I guess, paid by the Paramount Plus users goes to a Deep Space Nine remaster. Right. I would, yeah. You know what they should do? They should fundraise. They should give like $1 per episode watched to like the Deep Space Nine remaster. They would remaster everything within a month.
That's not a big priority as to remaster Deep Space Nine because that doesn't make them any money. Nobody bought the next generation Blu-rays, so that ship has gone to warp.
I bought them. I have them.
That ship went to warp years ago.
I understand.
They're seeing all of a sudden folks are buying them now.
I don't care. I think that it's not for the money. I think it's for self-respect. I think Viacom CBS owns one of the most important and culturally impactful franchises of the world, and I think that having two of those shows within the franchise not in HD is something to be ashamed of.
But if you're a CEO, and you make decisions based on not making money and based on self-respect, then your stockholders will sue you because they're like, "Why are you doing this stuff that's not making our money? That's literally in violation of your contract. You are getting sued."
You could argue that it's a long-term thing. It will give people more reason to go back and rewatch and revisit these shows if they look better and if they are, correctly streamable. Because as time passes, they will look more and more like shit. Because we've come to the point where official Star Trek accounts are basically comparing the 4K version of the movies to the 1080p, saying that the 1080p looked like garbage. And it's like, yo, the thing was HD. But it's not good enough now.
Toddy, did you buy the remastered version of the first 4 Star Trek movies?
I did.
I have my special edition 50th anniversary thing up there.
I know, but you got to get the new
4K one. I don't have anything in my home that can play 4K.
But it comes with the standard Blu-ray. It comes with the standard Blu-ray also, and even those look better.
True. But you know what?
Those are new transfers they did.
In my special edition 50 years remastered thing, I don't watch the remastered versions. I still watch the original dumbed down shitty versions from back in the 60s because that's better. I prefer watching the original versions. I don't need 4K remasters. It's just that
except for Deep Space Nine and Voyager.
Well, here's the thing. I would enjoy having an in-between for TOS. I would enjoy having a completely visually like a remastered version, but with the original effects. Like, if that makes sense. But maybe the original effects would just look so terrible if you were to upgrade them, I guess, like, visually speaking. I don't know.
Well, Star Trek Prodigy is gonna look insane on y'all's TVs
Yeah.
because it looks like a crazy looking, beautiful,
Yeah, they went all out with the colors on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited because I just bought like this new 4K HDR TV a few months ago that I can't stop talking about because it's like the best TV I've ever owned by far, by leaps and bounds. First TV I bought in over a decade, and I am so hyped to watch. Even though it won't be in 4K, I think this will stream on Paramount Plus with the HDR, and so these colors are going to look amazing on my TV.
They need to remaster all of Star Trek in whatever Forever K is, so that when holodeck technology exists, like you can go into Star Trek. You can actually go
Forever
in.
K?
Yeah,
I
Forever
do think
K.
I do think
I think
one
4K
day
is
when
enough.
one day when the AI to do it is so effective and can easily be done, we'll get a remaster then, but it won't happen until then. So just
Alright.
just be
That's
patient.
Forever K. We have to wait for
The
Forever
only
K.
the only show that I would, and I know this is weird, but the only show that I would actually welcome like a full remaster with like a VFX change would be Babylon 5, because boy, that looked terrible. Like, all of the VFX on Babylon 5 was so PS2. Like, oh, they cut
It's
to a
ki-
cutscene
yeah.
from Ratchet and Clank.
I
Yeah.
I actually
I had a
Yes.
hard time watching it in the 90s, even back then. I thought I was like,
Yeah.
why
Deep
is
Space
the CGI?
Nine.
This looks like a cartoon. Yeah, and then like I'll watch like Deep Space Nine and be like, yeah, this looks so much better.
Yeah,
They
I mean, today
should-
it's still
they
looks
should
horrible.
worst
upgrade
thing on
the
Deep
effects.
Space Nine was Odo, right, when he was like slithering around, but that's still like pretty respectable for a TV show in the 90s.
I'll just say I respect now. I didn't respect it at the time, but I respect now that they are essentially were doing for CGI what TOS was doing for like spaceships, like for like practical effects for spaceships.
Yeah.
Like TOS was like you look at the effects now and you're like, oh wow, like the remaster looks like what it should be in a way, because it's like they had so many limitations back then. And that's the same thing with Bab 5, is that like, yeah, I laughed at the CGI back then
You
as
mean
well,
person.
but like now that I've seen like what shows like Battlestar Galactica have done, or like even just Star Trek, you're like, wow, like CGI's come a long way. So
Well, Starfleet Boy is one of these people that would like to remaster all of Star Trek so it looks exactly like, he wants everything to look as good as like Picard
yeah,
or The Expanse. He wants everything to have like that crisp look. He wants to go back and remaster the original series, do it
just
all.
put me in charge of
You'll
the
know in like
remastering
20
division.
years, like 20 years from now, people are going to be like, The Expanse looks terrible. It doesn't look like these
Yeah,
new
that's
modern
true.
shows. It's just like that's just part of life. Things age, and the new kids don't think it looks as good.
But that's the VFX. That's not necessarily like the I don't know, the film quality. What do we call it? The amount of pixels or whatever it is.
The resolution.
The
The resolution. Sorry, because Deep Space Nine and Voyager, we're talking about the resolution here. It's just not.
People are going to think the expand. They're going to be like, oh, it's only 4K. Like, why can it be remastered in 20K? Like all these modern
Can we
shows.
see more than like 4K? Like, is there a point in going beyond 4K?
Yeah.
Supposedly 6K is the threshold of the
Okay.
human.
It's not like
That's
they
the
already make.
threshold.
You can buy 8K displays now.
right, but
Is there a point though?
Yeah, I mean, the illusion will be even more indiscernible at 8K, but like I think 6K is around the threshold for the average human eye as far as
Alright.
like perception.
So take it to 8 so that you can maximize it, but then
Yeah,
leave it at 8. Like, there's no need
But
to
no,
advance further
there
than
is
that.
a need to go further, because like I said,
Oh.
once you create holodecks, like you need forever K at that point. You need it to look so good that when you walk up to it, it looks like whatever it's supposed to be.
Let's switch back to Prodigy though, because we only have like a few minutes left.
Captain Janeway isn't Forever K, Starfleet Boy.
She is. It's true. I agree.
I hate this bringing up like Deep Space Nine or Voyager remasters, because
It's
like
true,
it's so
that's
pointless
sorry.
to talk about.
sorry,
It goes
I'm
on these
sorry.
strange tangents.
I blame Toddy.
It's not
It
gonna
is. It's
happen
my
because
fault.
it's not economically viable. Just wait till the AI can just do it with a flip of a switch.
Prodigy is, however, economically viable because there's a whole new audience
Yes,
to watch
and
it.
that was another thing. I mentioned this before, Toddy. I don't know if you were in the stream yet or not, but the idea of like the show being kind of the gateway drug into Star Trek. That's why they're doing these characters that don't know anything. That's something that Brett Gray talked about also. The actor playing Dawes, he said that he knew about Star Trek growing up. His parents watched it, and his grandma watched it a lot. but he never knew how to get into it. And I'm sure all of y'all, if you have like friends you've talked to about Star Trek, if people do want to start somewhere, where do you tell them where to start? It's kind of hard to say. But this is going to be the gateway for the youthful audience.
And
I can see that.
everyone who talked
I
about,
agree and disagree, but yeah.
what was cool to hear was everyone who talked about like that they didn't know Star Trek were like praising it, like, because it's true, when you get past all of the nitpicking and details and those things are all enjoyable, but there's also such a great Star Trek, such a great story. And Kate Mulgrew said it like really amazingly in her portion, where she was just like, it just inspires people to evolve, to like see the like see the better side of things, to like to like make a great difference. Like, it's just, Star Trek's an awesome vehicle. And she was right when she said something about like Star Trek Forever. Like, it's gonna be, there's no more, like, Star Trek has now reached a point where it's like something that everyone in the whole world like understands and knows, whether they like it or not, or watch it or not. You can say, oh, Star Trek, and they'll be like Captain so and so, and USS whatever. And so it's cool that Star Trek is so big that it's an institution at this point. And yeah, I really love that. And so it's great to have this new show that's like geared to make it less intimidating to enter into that world, and I think that's pretty cool.
And we see it in the clip. We see it with like what's the Federation? And we have like this holographic Janeway who can be their teacher. Eventually there's going to be a moment where it comes up, we're like, a Vulcan? What's a Vulcan? And then Jane will explain like, oh yeah, the Vulcans are this race of people that have dedicated their lives to pure logic, and explain it on a level to where the 12-year-old watching this for the first time, who's never heard of a Vulcan before, they'll watch and be like, oh, okay, I know what a Vulcan is now.
Or the 35-year-old who wants to get into Star Trek but isn't sure that they want to go and learn from it on Twitter, like, well, whatever.
That's another thing, is not everyone's going to be able to plug into I watch a lot of like young adult or adult audience, or all ages, or whatever you want to call it, like type of stuff. Like one of my favorite shows is Batman the Animated Series from the 90s. I always reject when people are like, oh, it's not going to be good. It's like for kids. You can make stuff for kids that's still quality. Like Pixar does it a lot, I think. But not everyone's going to be able to plug into this, so it's still not going to be like a universal introduction.
Monsters at Work. I'm sorry, Monsters at Work that just came out. Like you talk, Pixar just released Monsters at Work on Disney Plus. It is a brilliant show. It's crafted for kids. It has very simple, very straightforward lessons for kids. It's about like it's an adorable little story, but it works for adults just as much. And it entirely recaptures like the humor and the essence and the vibe of like the original film.
What's great about shows like this also is that, right, you see in Star Trek kind of what's a Klingon? That's cute. I love that. What's a Klingon? That's like a legit thing a young person might say. But to that point, I think it's like great when you get a show like this, because it is good to watch youth-oriented shows now and then to keep in touch with the youth. Like, I have a lot of like young people in my family, and like it's great to have like something I'm obsessed with is Star Trek, so it'll be great to have a new connection point, like a new conversation piece with the younger people in my family, and to like kind of relate to them, because I'll definitely be watching Star Trek Prodigy. Like, it's gonna be like,
it's never occurred to me as an option to not watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I have a niece I could watch it with. I won't, because I'm like a bad uncle. I never spend any time with her, but I could if I wanted to.
Do you think every time they come across an alien, Janeway is going to be programmed to explain the alien to the crew?
Yeah, I think that's going to happen a lot. A Pokedex.
No, this is going to be like the Star Trek encyclopedia, basically.
Oh my gosh. I would love if you could
out of
Denise
job.
Okuda.
They replaced me.
I lived and breathed the Star Trek encyclopedia when it originally came out. It was like such a great resource.
That was my Bible. When I was a kid in the
cool.
90s, I would fall asleep reading the Star Trek encyclopedia like every night, and I would wake up with it like on my chest.
It's a wonder to me I don't know more trivial knowledge about Star Trek, because I read that book so much, so I'm sure it's all locked in there somewhere. It's like,
Um,
it's indistinguishable from headcanon now.
Robbie and Snowhell, since y'all saw the panel, let's tell Sean if there's anything that I think we haven't touched on. Uh, I have one last thing, and then I'll see if either y'all have anything. But just one thing I want to mention is that Dawn Lewis, who she was a big Star Trek fan growing up. She said she watched the original series with her siblings as a kid, and she was crushing on Chakotay when Voyager was on. But she was asking everyone, what was your gateway into Star Trek? How did you get into it and stuff? Or who was like the Star Trek watcher in your family? And the Hageman brothers, they were talking about how their big introduction into Star Trek was, when they were kids, it was Star Trek 3, and how like Star Trek 2 and 3, the emotions of those movies was very core to like their like introduction to Star Trek and that very cinematic feel. And that's the thing that they're trying to present here, is it's going to have like those strong emotional beats. And I love Star Trek 3. Is my favorite Star Trek movie. Star Trek 2 is, I know Sean thinks it's overrated, but often considered one of the best, or if not the best, Star Trek movie. So I thought that was cool to hear. But yeah, I think I covered everything from the panel that I took away. Do either of y'all have any other highlights that need to be mentioned?
For me, it was just really cool to see Don Lewis and Kate Mulgrew, It's always fun when there's two actors who play captains sharing a stage, and so that was really really fun. I want more of that. Like, I'd love to see more. I can't wait to go to Chicago, Mission Chicago, because I hope there's a lot of interactions like that. The great bird of the galaxy willing that COVID is under control by then. But last thing I also want to take away is from that moment too, about who is the person in your family that or in that brought you into Star Trek. Is such a cool thing that's like that's like something that a lot of parents now can do for their kids who are Trekkies, like, which is, it's just a nice thing. It's like now you can like actually like, you don't have to like screen Lower Decks and try to show your kid like all the good episodes, or or like the ones that are like PG or whatever. You can just, there's a show now for younger audiences that they can bond with their older parents and stuff with. It's cool.
I think what stuck with me was D. Bradley Baker. Just talking about how optimistic Star Trek is. He didn't know what he was going into. He just was. He had to learn how to do the voice, and then he found out it was Star Trek, and he was glad he was promoting such an optimistic view that we need during this time. And Don Lewis was saying, this make believe is to teach us that we can make it a reality. And I love that Kate Mulgrew was talking about that she knew nothing really about Star Trek, and then she wouldn't have it any other way now. And how Kate Mulgrew was talking about Gene Roddenberry and his vision. Yeah, it was all wonderful.
Did you see the shirt that D. Baker was wearing, by the way?
Yeah, it had the
original
TOS.
series Brady Bunch. Yeah, it had like
that's red.
Core and the Corbomite puppet and the Orion girl. Like, they were all like TOS Brady Bunch character. Like, it was like the Brady Bunch grid of like the 3x3, with like Alice in the middle, except it was like Core in the middle.
His story about wanting Vulcan ears was really
yeah. He said he was such a Spock fan as a kid that he watched Star Trek with his dad, and that he wanted to get his ears surgically altered to be like Spock.
Yeah, that was really really cool.
But I think that's it. That's everything. We are going to be watching this, at least here in the United States, streaming on Paramount Plus on October 28th, and I think it's going to be on Crave in Canada. They've confirmed, and who knows for the rest of the world, sometime next year.
Awesome.
Well, I'm excited, and I'm going to be doing my review. I don't know how I'm going to be doing my reviews yet, like how I'm going to structure them, because on one side I want to talk about them, like, I guess, as seriously as we talk about all other Star Trek shows. Like, I'm not dismissive about the fact that it's animation or done for kids. I do take it seriously, but on the other hand, like, they are making it for kids, and sometimes like certain messages or certain, I don't know, like story beats might be a little obvious or a little like on the nose, but it's done on purpose. It's so that the kids, they really get the message across. So I'm gonna have to try and find a way to balance that, and hopefully I'll be able to watch it with baby on the tube,
I think
so I can get some like
it'll be
opinions
fun to find out
from the child.
That'll be fun to find out how you deem it appropriate for your child.
How old is she now?
3.
3.
So
I have a Star Trek Prodigy T-shirt for her. It's the same as mine, except it's like that size.
Okay.
Yeah, like they sent it as like a bonus gift.
Oh, okay.
Are you gonna be in Chicago?
Yes.
I can give it to you then. She might outgrow it. It's like
she
6
might outgrow
months,
it.
but
yeah, she goes pretty quick. But yeah, no, I'm intrigued, and I want to bring that kind of aspect, I guess, to my videos as well, and be like, hey, parents, like, this show is. I'm assuming it is going to be good, but for kids, but it'd be interesting to like kind of be able to talk about that and say, look, they're doing this for kids. They're sharing this kind of message. Oh, there it is.
That's super cute. I have gifts for Sean. I tried to mail them during the pandemic, and they got sent back.
He also has shirts for me. He's got like 2 extra.
But I'm bringing them all to Chicago. Yeah, it's true.
Bring an extra big suitcase so you can carry it all back.
Oh god, you're gonna have to bring like an extra suitcase just for all the shirts. And all the merch that we're gonna
I still remember how. Well, we don't want to talk about it on the air, but I just remember how disappointed you were when I told you what your mug was. You were hoping it was something else. That's all I'll say.
Okay, I'm curious to hear that story. But I think we're gonna have to go ahead and end today's stream. But I'm curious what people watching this later on the replay, what you think about the panel, think about the clip, any of that stuff. And we'll be covering the show on Tex-Trek. I know that all of these people will probably be covering it on their own channels and their own special ways, and we'll also be doing the finale for Lower Deck Season 2 Friday live at 7:30 p.m. Central. Then that'll be available as a podcast later on either late that Sunday night or early that Monday morning to listen to wherever you get your podcast. Does anyone? I'll just go down the road. Does anyone have anything they want to plug before we sign off? Starfleet Boy.
Yeah, I'd like to plug Starfleet Boy and Starfleet Boy After Dark. Just check them out on YouTube and subscribe to the one that's your flavor.
Cool. Robbie?
I don't have anything to promote right now.
Right.
You're not doing like Doctor Who reviews or anything?
No, I'm finished.
Oh, okay.
Go check them out on the list.
Wait, are you finished forever? You didn't tell me. Am I fired? Did you fire me from
Go subscribe to Elgay on the list, because he will resume at some point his content creation. It's not finished. God damn it. I'm doing my reviews as usual. I'm desperately trying to get this Galileo 7 review out as well. But every time, it's crazy. Every time I think that I have time, there's a new episode of Lower Decks coming out.
It's always excuses every week.
It's like goddamn Lower Decks. I've been blasting Mike McMahon. Can you slow it down?
I just hear excuses every week. That's all I hear.
We've got a break between Lower Decks and Prodigy, so we'll be able to pump out
a 1 week break, or I guess it's 2 weeks. Because
it's just enough to get that TOS review out. Because Galileo 7's a fun episode.
Yeah, TOS it's going to be fun. When we have Prodigy and Discovery at the same time. Like,
oh my gosh,
that's going to be interesting.
At the same time?
Yeah, they're going to drop on the same days.
How can I do 2 reviews in the same week? Get your shit together, Viacom CB. Like, what are you doing?
We're gonna do Star Trek Discovery reviews with a Star Trek Prodigy update. That's how it's gonna be on my channel.
Oh, okay. So that makes it easier.
Discovery gets the default, and then Prodigy doesn't get as much. What if you like Prodigy more than Disco Season 4?
Then we'll switch the format. It'll be a Prodigy episode with a Discovery update.
I might have to. Oh god, I might have to cancel the Easter eggs on my videos just to be able to. No, I don't know.
You should just promote Jurg so he gets more followers. It'll be really cool. And others. There's AJ Hallowell. There's Matt, our friend Matt, Paul. Lots of people do it.
Maybe I should
Yeah.
retire the Gorn eggs from my show.
It's a lot of work.
Well,
It
did
is.
you see the Hageman brothers reply to my question?
Yes, and it
No.
made me want to cry.
Yeah.
Oh, that. Oh, yes, I did see
Yerk
that.
was all like, "Yeah, this is so cool." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? You don't make videos about this stuff."
Yeah, for those who
Right.
don't know, the Hagemans claim that Prodigy will have close to as many or just as many Easter eggs as Lower Decks.
I mean,
Surely
it's
not.
cool. It's cool for the I guess the expansion of the universe and everything. Yeah,
All those
stuff we
people
said
who were
earlier,
complaining about Discovery not having enough Easter eggs are now like crying.
but, yeah, Discovery
It's
puts
not
one.
connected enough. It feels
Discovery,
too
Discovery puts one Ferengi and it's a crisis. But freaking Prodigy over here, Lower Decks, right?
It's gonna be fun. A lot of Star Trek to look forward to.
All right.
Yep.
And
My update is maybe I will cancel the Easter egg segments in my videos. I will see.
breaking news, you heard it here first.
Yeah,
maybe
let Toddy know if you
maybe
should on
Trick
his
the
channel.
Tube yeah, let him know. Tell
I
him
should-
tell
yeah.
him that you love the Easter eggs.
Oh,
Be sure to leave a comment. Say that's your favorite part of all of his
I
content.
only watch the Easter eggs. I don't care about your thoughts.
I do.
Yeah, you just skip to that part.
I do actually skip to the Easter eggs when I watch review. No, I'm just kidding. I always listen to the review, but I do sometimes skip the Easter eggs.
No, because you get angry at my reviews, but then the Easter eggs, you're fine, all right?
I only get angry when you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
No, when I'm talking
one's
about
wrong.
Picard. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, we've derailed this conversation.
This is terrible. Yeah, stop it.
Oh, well, we're gonna have some Picard live commentaries with me and Sohel before season 2 comes
Yep.
out. We're gonna redo season
This
1.
is correct.
We both really like Picard.
Maybe EGT will join, and maybe Sean can join a couple times. Maybe 1 or 2 episodes. Not every episode though.
He wants to invite me on like specific episodes. He
Yeah,
knows that I
like
like.
Nepenthe, and that's it. Basically,
He doesn't want me anywhere near the finale.
I'll go back and look at the episodes you gave like higher than a 5. And
He'll be like, bring him on for like the pilot and then the Nepenthe.
Exactly. Anyways, but as you can see, there's a nice little network of conversations about Star Trek going on.
This
Please
is the
tune in.
mycelial network of Star
Father,
Trek.
did
Is that
Tell
what we're
everyone-
going to call ourselves? That the mycelial network?
I like that. Father, did you plug for everyone to subscribe, because only 20% of your viewers are actually subscribed?
That's true. Yeah. So
What?
out of
Yeah.
everyone who's
20%?
watching this, only 20% of y'all are subbed.
How
But
do
I
you know
need that
that
to be
metric?
100.
Or
Is that
share
You
share
can get
text
that.
track.
You can get your analytics.
Share text track. One thing that's working for me is that I've been inviting people who love my channel to share it, and I got like 20 more subscribers. It was amazing. So please share text track with other folks so that you can get who might enjoy it, and maybe even some that don't enjoy it, so that
It's free. It costs exactly
It
$0
costs nothing,
American
exactly,
dollars
yeah.
to subscribe. So it's a good way to support a creator that you like, or even
Yes.
a creator that you're just like kind of okay with. It's like
What-
if you don't
what
have
button
anything
do you click?
against me, go ahead and subscribe, please.
Toddy is a creator that I'm okay with. I support him I even subscribe to his Patreon.
What button do you click to get that kind of information?
I'll end the stream and then I'll look it up and then tell you. So I gotta give Trek on the Tube a YouTube tutorial. But
I'm the best YouTuber out there. I don't even know how the platform works.
thank you everyone for watching. We gotta go, and until next time, live long and prosper, y'all.
Live long and prosper.